hope you guys are enjoying this gorgeous, gorgeous day. I am on the edge of my seat trying to figure out what's going to happen next. So we're going to get back into Impossible Creatures. Our next chapter looks very mysterious because we have this new creature. There's been some debate over exactly who this is. So let's get started and see what's going on. You guys know this next chapter is called Written Out. What Christopher might have said in reply... Okay, well, sorry. Let's just remember what happened in our previous chapter, which we reread, is Christopher fell, or he did the opposite of falling, and then thankfully he was safe, and we'll see if they've landed in the destination that they've been trying to get to for a long time, which is finding the sphinxes so that they can get some answers or get some help for the creatures that are in peril. Here we go. What Christopher might have said in reply will never be known. In reply to Night Hand saying, "I congratulate you on not dying," which I love Night Hand and his dry humor. Because there was a noise among the small, wind-stunted trees on the cliff top, and out into the rocky stretch of ground came a creature that silenced him completely. Are you guys thinking that this is a creature? Me too. It was vast. Let's imagine this happening in front of us. Its body was leonine, deep yellow, with paws as large as Christopher's torso. Torso, my friends, is this part of your body. So imagine a creature that's as large as the tummy part of your body. Oh! Its face was as if a human consciousness and human eyes had been laid upon a lion. Folded along its back were wings, immense and feathered and sand-colored. Its tail was long and lay behind it on the ground. He knew at once what it was. So indeed, my friends, the illustrations in this book are so helpful. Obviously, our imagination is incredibly helpful, but it's nice to have these words kind of rooted in illustration as well. We don't always have that, of course. Next to him, Mal hurriedly wiped her hands and her heavy black fringe, her bangs, and stood as straight as if in the presence of royalty. She smoothed Gellifin's feathers and stepped closer to Christopher. It came nearer. A thrill of adrenaline went through him. Night Hand put his hand to the glamoury blade at his belt and stepped in front of Mal. He sniffed. "Smells like a cat," he said. "Strangers," said the Sphinx. So, my friend, this is the Sphinx. They finally found who they've been looking for. And the Sphinx, I'm very surprised, I don't know if you are, talks. This is going to be hopefully a very easy interaction. Its voice was low and rough, so I'll work on my Sphinx voice. "What have you come for?" Seems like he has a lower and rougher voice than Night Hand. "For information," said Mal, and then she added in the face of so many teeth, "Please?" "Then you have come to solve a riddle? We do not give information without trial." Oh, someone has entered the chat. Do you want to read with the kids? Come here, Curly. Come here. Do you want to read with the kids? Come here. Uh-oh, look who wants to read with us. Nee, it's Millie. But, we do not give information without trial. "But why not?" said Irian. Christopher was startled to see how unafraid she seemed of the Sphinx. Isn't that the point of knowledge, to pass it on? Do you agree, Millie? I agree. "So, we ask riddles for 2 reasons. The Sphinx's voice was strangely staccato, as if human language were not the tongue it was used to, but its English was perfect. "We would be swamped with visitors, inundated with seekers after trivial knowledge that they could have found for themselves. The risk of death and its long tongue... the risk of death, and its long tongue came out and licked the top of its nose. Whittles down the numbers. Thinking about the long tongue that this little creature has trying to bite me. Yes, said Arian. Her tone was bone dry. I can imagine it would have that effect. I have to see who's talking here. And second, why tell truth to those not yet prepared to receive it? The riddles ensure that we tell our secrets to those who have already learned how to think. How does one learn how to think, Millie? Good grief. Its yellow eyes grazed over Christopher and Moll. And third... You said two reasons, said Nighthand. Third, the Sphinx said louder, and its wings opened for just one moment. A great sweep of feather and threat, and the air shook because it is a way of attracting food. We'll answer the riddle, said Christopher. That's why we've come. The Sphinx lowered its head, and if you get it wrong, perhaps we will eat you. Scary. Oh no, I won't let them get you. Perhaps, said Moll. It is not my choice. If it were, there would be no, perhaps. But it will be the choice of the Naravirala. Sorry. My mother, leader of our clan. My name is Baloob. I am her fourth son. Would you eat all of us? Said Nighthand. He sounded irritated. What else is new? Or just one who gets it wrong. It's important to be precise about these things, I think. All of you, said Belhib, and the griffin. My mother will be interested in the griffin. Follow me. And he set off at a swift lope across the rocks. The cliff was part, Christopher could see now, of a huge mountain range. There was one great peak ahead of them. The incline was steady at first, rock and grass and lichen, and then steep and sharp jags. Quicker! He doesn't seem very patient, said Belhib. Christopher and Moll climbed side by side, both breathing hard. Are you gonna go to sleep, little baby? Talking when they spoke in whispers. Heads close together so that the Sphinx could not hear. Gallifin curled around Christopher's neck. Christopher could feel his beak vibrating against his ear, kind of like this little baby's about to fall asleep. Untroubled by the Sphinx, the Griffin, one of life's great anticipators, quivered with hopes at what might come. Arian followed, scrambled up, scree-fast, but rendered clumsy by the newness of her boots. Once she slipped, both feet giving away, and Moll and Christopher twisted to help her, but Nighthand, seemingly without looking, shot his left hand out and caught her around her upper arm. Oh, Millie fell asleep. So cute. He let go of her very swiftly once she was back on her feet. You hurt? She had scree cut into her palms, but she shook her head. Just a little grated. Keep steady, he said, his voice gruff. Those shoes need treading in. Your feet are used to libraries. Millie's snoring. And she laughed and determinedly did not look round again. Only Christopher saw Nighthand glance down at his left arm and touch his right thumb to the palm before he began to climb. They had been clambering upward for at least an hour, perhaps two, when Christopher first noticed the marks cut into the rock. They came where the stone was smoothest. Scratches, lines, curves, and streaks. They looked like they had been gouged into the gray stone by a strong and confident claw. Imagine how strong a claw must be that it would have the ability to engrave or to cut into rock. There could be no doubt about what it was. Writing, he said to Moll. She ran her fingers over it. I wish they'd taught me something useful at school, like Sphinx, instead of all that algebra. At that moment, the first noise came on the wind. It was soft, barely audible, but it was there, the thrum of voices. Can you believe this sweet little thing has fallen asleep? Did you hear that? Said Christopher. She turned to it, her mouth slightly open to hear better, and nodded. It's coming from round the side of the mountain, she said. Follow, called Belhib. Faster! They rounded an outcrop, moving on hands and feet, and stopped short. The mountain was alive with movement. What do you think they're about to see happening on this mountain? Over the surface of the rock face, dropping between ridges, prowling up and down the slope with the effortless ease of vast ballerinas, lying with their faces turned to the sun and wind, were what looked, at a distance, like yellow, gold-winged cats. Cats that stood 10 feet high. They walked closer, Belheap calling out in his own language as they came. Are you telling them not to fear us? Said Night Hand. I'm telling them not to eat you. It's impossible for a human to hurt a sphinx. Night Hand looked like he might be about to debate that, but Irian raised her eyebrows and he fell silent. The sphinx's strength, Christopher saw, was dizzying. They leapt like coiled springs upward over the rock, covering 20 feet at a bound. In the lee of a boulder, a circle of sphinxes were eating. I'm turning the page. What do you think they're eating? Popsicles? Something meaty and unidentifiable. Ooh. Tearing at it with teeth as long as his fingers and twice as thick. They spoke to each other in a brief, guttural language. There was no sweetness in their faces, unlike this face, of course. Christopher felt fear rise in him and pushed it back. The peak came into night. It formed the wide, blunt top of a ridge, huge and broad and windswept. Two of the largest and oldest sphinxes were at the summit, scratching with their vast front paws into the rock face, writing. So they really are using these rocks as their communication system. They're actually writing with their claws in the rocks. And it's in a language that the visitors don't identify. They do not know this language. Christopher nudged Maul. Look, he said, the whole mountainside. Above their heads, as far as he could see, nearly every surface of glittering stone was written upon. Some of it was in the alphabet he knew. Some of it was in alphabets he had never seen, with pictures or great hashed strokes of geometry. Irian, too, had seen. I've heard about this, she said. There was awe in her voice. They moved from mountain to mountain, etching their knowledge into the rock. Histories, philosophies, songs, mathematics. She ran her hand along a diagram gouged into the stone, a planet. They cut deep, so it will last 1,000 years. When, after years, the whole mountain is written, they move to the next. What a fascinating concept. Christopher watched the two sphinxes carving into the mountain as they approached. The rock gave way to their claws with a high, grating sound. I don't think I would like that sound. It's like, kind of feels like to me like nails on a chalkboard. Both had tails that ended in a ball of thorns and an expression of deepest concentration. Belheap, who was the size of a car, was clearly small by the standard of sphinxes, so it seems like he's not quite full grown yet. With a final scramble, they reached the ridge. Birds circled overhead. The late afternoon sun shone sideways into Christopher's eyes. It was beautiful and strange enough to make you shake. This is Nata Vitala, said Belheap. She will give you your riddles. And over the edge of the ridge, her fur rippling in the wind, came the largest sphinx they had yet seen. She was old. The fur around her mouth and ears were white. Her back was densely muscled and her claws long and sharply pointed. and with her came a sense of overwhelming power. Her face was neither kind nor unkind. If a face could look like distilled knowledge, it would be this. She looked them over. The scrutiny was being bitten. It made Christopher feel something had got into his skin. "I welcome you as guests," she said. Her voice, like Belle Heaves, was tight, as if she prized words too much to waste any. "But you are also trespassers until we know your purpose." Irian stepped forward. She bowed and touched 2 fingers to her heart. I think that's a beautiful greeting. She introduced each person by name. "Our purpose, my lady, is that which you believe it to be." Nara Virala nodded. "Good. You know the old customs." Nighthand glanced toward Irian, surprised. "Always assume the Sphinx knows. And in this case, I believe that I do. But first, the riddles." Oh my goodness sakes. Okay, so my question for you readers is one. Have you ever seen a sweeter puppy on planet Earth? I don't think I have. I don't know if she is finding our book to be as exciting as I am. It put her right to sleep, didn't it? 2, do you think Nighthand and Irian and Christopher and Mal are going to be able to work together to figure out the riddles so that they can ask the questions to hopefully solve the problem, or begin to solve the problems that they've been encountering out in the archipelago? Do you think they're in danger? I feel like they're slightly in danger. I feel a little nervous for them. I wonder how difficult the riddles are going to be. I wonder if they're going to have some sort of physical challenge element to them. And I can't wait to read some more. Our next chapter, I didn't even look, is... the next chapter is called 4 Riddles. So I think when we read together next, we are going to start getting into some of those riddles. So I hope they're able to figure them out. I hope you guys do something fun today. I hope you read something that you care about. I really appreciate you being here reading with us. And I will see you soon. Know how much I love you, and stay tuned for the next one.